So we just watched the Atozi video where he went into why everybody up to this point doesn't like Pyre Software. But there are some new things going on, some new drama situations developing, and we're going to check it out. From Quintheo one more time. We're going to go ahead and slap this like on there, and slap a like on my video too.
Pirate Software just compared his role in the Stop Killing Games Initiative controversy to a Ugandan warlord.
All right, well, sure.
There is no world in which you would have believed me if I told you that that was going to be my intro a week ago. The only logical follow-up here is to just show you the clip that I'm talking about.
I do think that there are some people that get misled by that stuff, and they get wrapped up in an emotional thing. The best thing that I can equate it to is Coney 2012.
What? The fuck? What? What? Is he comparing Stop Killing Games to Coney 2012? That's actually fucking insane.
Coney 2012 was a movement in 2012 where everybody online kind of wrapped up into this big thing where they were trying to overthrow a Ugandan warlord named Coney, Joseph Coney, except he hadn't been in power for 4 years. This turned into like such like an internet zeitgeist thing where like everyone just like lost their mind. They're like, I gotta kill Coney, gotta kill Joseph Coney. They bought like stickers, they liked things on social media. It was like a big slacktivism movement. And people,
is he trying to say that Stop Killing Games is a manipulation for?
People hated, like absolutely hated each other over this. Like if you didn't buy the sticker, you were a piece of shit. It's that level of weirdness at this point.
Okay, so like what he's saying is that Stop Killing Games movement was started to get rid of Pirate Software. That's what he's saying. He's not saying that, but that's the comparison that should be made when you're comparing Stop Killing Games to Coney 2012. Otherwise, it makes no fucking sense.
At this point, it's just insane at this point to have that stuff. And I have people like sitting here on social media going and blasting every one of my posts saying that like I've been called all kinds of shit. You know, I've been attacked in all kinds of different.
Oh, it's all about you now, isn't it? Oh, it's all about you. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it all about himself. Which they all fucking do this. Every single moron that I talk about, they do the same shit. Can never take accountability, and they think all the hate is coming toward them because it's all about them. It's not actually about the thing we're talking about. It's about Thor and owning Thor.
Different ways. We got swatted 2 times this last week.
Now, if you're anything like me,
2 times now. It's 2 times. He's just saying it too. Like he's gonna have to provide receipts if he's gonna keep bringing that up. Like, was he really swatted, or did somebody just call it in and then the cops called him and were like, hey, Thor, are you murdering your family right now? No? Okay, cool. Sorry to bother you. Was it that? Because that is a very different thing than what you're implying it is. Which also, you shouldn't be fucking doing that. If you are calling to get somebody swatted, I think you get the same charge as attempted murder.
Probably don't know what Coney 2012 was. Maybe older people that are watching this are going to understand, but I didn't. So I went ahead and did some research, and I found some really interesting things. And so
Here, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll give you a good example. Here you go. There you go. Coney 2012.
See this black man? Don't worry, son. He's not really here. Well, see this black man? He's somewhere in the Ugandan jungle, probably starving, battered, sick, brittle, and weak. He used to be the leader of an opposing rebel group called the LRA, which hasn't even been an issue since, like, 2003. Well, we gotta stop him.
Is that the bad guy from the Star Wars?
God damn it! How can you help? You could adopt a Ugandan child, or even travel to Uganda to help starving children. You can help build schools here and take care of the sick. Just kidding, that's fucking stupid and not actually going to help anybody. If you really want to help them, you should buy our $5 box of stupid shit.
Coney 2012! Coney 2012! Coney 2012! Coney 2012! Coney 2012! Coney 2012!
Looks like our paycheck wasn't very invisible. You're all fucking stupid!
Yep, and that's what Pyre Software is saying is going on. And that's totally not what's going on with the Stop Killing Games movement.
I wanted to share that with you. I think that there are some good comparisons that could be made.
Pyre Software is such a massive retard, bro. Okay.
But I also think that overall, this is just a clear attempt at deflection yet again from people giving him criticism about his point of view and not his character. But just a quick 10 seconds before we jump into the video. If you're new here, consider subscribing if you've been following along or you end up enjoying this video. Give it a like, helps out with the algorithm. Or regardless of if you do either of those things, just thank you for watching this video. Now, this is going to be a brief rundown of the Coney 2012 stuff. I will leave a link in the description that's going a lot more in depth by a guy named Dontavius. But essentially, it surrounded this video right here, this 103 million viewed video from Invisible Children. It is still looked at today as the most viral video that has ever touched YouTube. It got 100 million views in just 6 days. And this video was a 30-minute documentary that was
Yeah, I saw it whenever it came out, and I was like, huh, that's crazy. I'm not gonna spend money on this. It sounds like a scam.
Just on exposing this guy by the name of Joseph Kony. He was a Ugandan warlord that was responsible for abducting children and turning them into child soldiers. Just as a side note, he would also make those children kill their parents. This guy was terrible. And so this video aimed at making this dude as famous as possible to make, global powers around the world take action to take care of this guy and capture him. Now, like I said, the video went insanely viral. 100 million views.
Dude, like, it went crazy in my high school. Everybody was wearing the bands. There were people that had t-shirts. And I was in high school, or not high school, it was, no, it was high school. Oh shit, it was high school. I was in high school. There were people that had, the wristbands, people wearing shirts, people had hats. There was this girl that was, passing around wristbands that said Coney 2012 on them. Back when everybody was wearing wristbands, it was they had them up and down their arms, all the way up to their elbows.
In just a matter of days. That's insane. And at the time, as you would expect with that, it's everywhere. And I think this is where Pirate's trying to make his comparison. Huge creators have been posting everywhere about the Stop Killing Games initiative. But back to the Coney 2012 movement, during this hype up process, the campaign ended up getting criticized for things like oversimplifying a very complex conflict that was taking place in Uganda. And there was also mishandling of donations. And one of the founders of this, his name is Jason Russell, he ended up having a very public breakdown.
I didn't think he was going to show it.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up kind of fizzling out this movement for Coney 2012, and it made Coney very famous, which was the goal of the campaign, but they didn't end up actually capturing Coney. There is so much more to that story, again, a link in the description, but let's get into Pirate Software and his comparison.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll get into that, and I'll actually check out what actually happened with this whole Coney 2012 situation. Because I just always thought that it was just completely fake, completely made up. Didn't think there was any truth to it.
Of the Stop Killing Games initiative with this movement. First, I think let's give credit where credit's due. Where can we find the comparisons that Pirate is trying to make here in this situation? When Coney 2012 was blowing up, pretty much anybody that disagreed with it was just completely drowned out by the overwhelming majority being like, this is an incredible movement, we need to support this. There was
yeah, also at the time, real people weren't on the internet. It was just the crazy weirdos who wanted to be on the internet then, during the Wild West era. That was more of a Wild West era back then. Shit was crazy. You think it was wild now.
Like a sense of moral high ground for the people that were in support for the movement, because it was about, child soldiers and how that's not good. I'm assuming Pirate Software here is comparing the Stop Killing Games initiative in the sense that pretty much everyone is behind the movement because it's good for consumer rights, for, the health of games. And because he disagrees with the initiative as he understands it, he's faced an insane amount of pushback. And even as he's claimed, he's been swatted 2 separate times and all of the tens of thousands of death threats that he's received.
I've had tens of thousands of death threats a day, including to the moderators and the rest of the team.
Well, welcome to the internet. Welcome to being an idiot on the internet too, by the way.
And yes, you can make the argument that you lose the nuance of the situation when it gets this big. And especially when there's, emotion behind it, like the preservation of video games. You get a bunch of gamers that are tuning into this situation. Yeah, it's going to make it harder to, assess legitimate critical information. It's easier to just fall in line with the majority. That's just kind of a universal truth. We understand that. And I think the other thing that I could give Pirate credit for is that the narrative over time with both of these has kind of become more simplified. Like for Coney 2012, they made a clear villain, Coney, and then a simple solution, just make him famous. And that's all that there was. They didn't go into the complex.
Yeah, I get that, but there was a reason, and we all can see what everything that Pirate Software is about. Nobody knew about Coney 2012. Nobody was doing any kind of research back then. Like anybody's doing research now, but they're just watching a whole bunch of drama videos, getting as much information as possible. like, we know a lot more about Pyre Software than we would have back in 2012 if the same thing was happening.
Like situation that was happening in Uganda. I'm not going to act like I know it, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that, yeah, maybe we didn't understand the intricacies of what was going on in Uganda at the time. And for the Stop Killing Games initiative, yeah, we can start to lose a bit of that nuance and a bit of that conversation being had when we're just looking at the fundamentals being like, hey, we should be able to leave games in a functional, playable state. I think the majority of content that has covered this entire situation doesn't go in depth on that because it ends up getting a bit more complex. And there's not, you know, as many game developers as there are people tuning into drama, right? But if you're interested, I'm actually going to link a video right here. This is my interview that I...
Yeah, isn't that funny? There's more gamers than there are game developers. Crazy how that works. And if we're saying, hey, stop doing this thing, and they're like, oh, we're the developers, we made the thing, so you have to do what we say, then we're just not going to buy your shit. That's as simple as that. And maybe we will keep buying your shit until you keep putting more and more bullshit in there. Because they haven't fixed it. Watch the last Pyre Software video I did, because I explained it there, what it's like. Where this all started. Back when we were upset that the sequel wasn't really as good as the first game, and now we've gone all the way to the point where everything's broken, because we let everything get a little bit broken, and we were like, oh, it's not that big a deal. And then some other problem happened, and we were like, well... kind of doesn't matter if it's this broken because everything's this broken and this game's got microtransactions in it, so forget that game. Now we're just like, well, the microtransactions aren't that bad in this game. Yeah, it just like, if we give them an inch, they take 1,000 miles.
I had with a game developer to talk about some of those intricacies. But if we're being honest, like that is another potential good point.
If we don't stop them from killing games, they are literally going to kill every game, because that's where this goes. Because they always get worse and worse and worse. If we don't stop the bad practices, then they're like, oh, well, this must be okay. Because nobody's doing anything. They say they don't like it, but they're still buying the games. So if people keep buying the games even after this doesn't work, it's on them. I guess we deserved it, since we didn't want to work to keep it.
The Stop Killing Games initiative, like Coney 2012, isn't wrong. It's just a lot of conversations, particularly around the drama, you know, such as myself. Videos like mine and others that have covered it are missing some of the complexity. I think that fact has to do with that we've kind of moved into more focusing on Pirate Software because he just keeps doing stupid shit. But even then, you know, me talking about the Stop Killing Games initiative, I'm not always going to be the most up-to-date and researched on it when I'm more focused on the drama aspect. But that was my best effort at being like, okay, let's make those comparisons. But after that, I think there are just so many ways that this comparison just does not work. Number one, there's a little difference in the stakes, right? Coney 2012 was about child soldiers, you know, icing their parents and being forced to be in this child army for Coney. We're talking about mass murder, war crimes, really bad stuff. Pirate, by far, is being criticized the most for his opinions about a video game preservation initiative. He's also...
Yeah, I think it's a really, really bad comparison. Pyre Software is a massive retard, and that's not what's going on. He is not Coney. Or he's not what the internet makes out to be Coney.
Being criticized about lying multiple times, about misleading and misrepresenting, that'll be important later, like the mass review bombing. The most negative reviews they had were back when it released, I think, back in November leading into where it is now in July, which is just following the trend of the recent months. And I also made a video covering that, link to that up above. And he's also just lied multiple times, making contradictory statements about, for instance, him lying about having COVID.
It's just me. I've been working on it for about 7 years, but I lost 2.5 years to COVID.
Again, this was the video from yesterday. It feels like an attempt to emotionally manipulate.
Wait, well, hold on. Let's not gloss over that.
Again, this was the video from yesterday. It feels
7 years, but I lost 2.5 years to COVID.
Again.
He lost 2.5 years to COVID. He had COVID for 2.5 years? Are you saying COVID prevented you from sitting on your ass to develop a game? Is that what happened? Whoa, what kind of fucking... What? Okay. Okay. Dude, everything this guy says just makes me not like him more and more.
Again, this was the video from yesterday. It feels like an attempt to emotionally manipulate people, especially the people that he's talking to, mainly there, in his Twitch stream. And I could be wrong here, but it feels like he's trying to conflate the pushback that he's received for his opinions on the Stop Killing Games initiative with a Ugandan warlord with a child army. I feel like this...
Yeah, that's kind of a strange comparison to make. He's like, well, guys, I'm just a Ugandan warlord who kills children, obviously. Like, crazy take to have.
This might be my weakest point. I'll let you guys decide that, because I fear that even with making this point, I'm in my own way making this emotionally charged. It could be that he's not talking about that specifically. He's just talking about the pushback itself, and I could...
Yeah, but he's stupid, and that's not the way he made it sound.
Just be reading too far into it that he's doing this manipulation thing. I'm not willing to die on that hill, but again, would like to hear your thoughts. And this kind of ties in with that point a bit, but it seems like he's reframing this criticism to make it all look like mob mentality. Like in doing this and talking...
He's trying to come up with any reason for him to be right and everybody to be wrong. And at this point, it doesn't even matter if he's right, because he's being a huge fucking prick about it.
About, well, all these people, Coney 2012, were super mad at people that weren't behind the movement, because of this like moral high ground thing. He's shifting the legitimate criticism, like about him just being really insufferable when he disagrees with people.
All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
Or him like completely misrepresenting the initiative and his opinion sucking. Or him deleting live stream VODs and lying about it.
So instead of that, I just deleted all the VODs where we were talking about it. I kept my videos up and I walked away.
And making this comparison, he's just trying to like group all of these people into a mob and say that they're just there because everyone else is here and everyone else is shitting on him, as opposed to the fact that maybe just a lot of people are reacting to his actions. He's trying to make all of this valid criticism and backlash that he's receiving all just...
Yeah, like, dude could say, like, oh, well, shit, maybe I'm wrong, and then not talk about it. He doesn't even say that. He doesn't even have to say that he's wrong. He could say, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I'm just not going to talk about this anymore because it's way bigger than I am. Probably what he should have done, but no.
Just look like drama frogs just hopping into his story. And maybe, there is a good chunk of people that are doing that, but to make it seem like that's the case, as opposed to him just like repeatedly over and over having really bad opinions, or just very provably being wrong multiple times and then doubling down and just choosing to die on that hill because of his ego. Again, it just feels like he's trying to circumvent, legitimate criticism. And it's not like the people that have issues with him just came out of nowhere. He chose to make the videos about the Stop Killing Games initiative.
And he chooses to keep responding like NMP does the same shit. Ludwig does the same shit. Hassan does the same shit. They all do the same shit where they just can't help themselves. Can't help themselves but to respond to the criticism. Oh, I'm above the drama, but I'm gonna actively keep talking about it.
And he ended up making them very poorly. And then he made the decision to double down, triple down, quad, keep going. He's not like some passive victim that was just minding his own business and all of a sudden people were like, we don't like that you're talking with a fake deep voice, or that your millennial humor just isn't up my alley. He had doo-doo batter opinions, plain and simple. And so to wrap it up, he's taking this Coney 2012 movement and making an analogy to it about what he's experiencing to play the victim. He simply misunderstood.
Yeah, he put himself in the role of a Ugandan warlord who kills children. Like, great. Good one, Pirate Software. That's the way people need to see you.
Make this comparison, it just feels like he's trying to dodge accountability for all of the criticism.
Yeah, exactly what he's doing. They can't take accountability for anything, man.
Criticism going his way. Criticism which he earned through his own actions. And I guess I don't blame him, because if you're not...
When people say that they have top experts working on the matter, the top experts are people like Ludwig and Pirate Software. Those are the top experts they speak of.
Not willing, if your ego won't allow you to, apologize or maybe correct yourself, something like that. Yeah, I mean, what else could it feel like other than personal attacks when you feel that every criticism at you is directly attacking who you are? Although at this point, it's becoming more and more clear that this is just who he is. And don't get me wrong, yes, Stop Killing Games initiatives does have its flaws. There's no denying that. That's why it's a foot in the door, because we hope to, figure out those kinks and work it out through the process of having that conversation when it ends up going forward. But again, for Pirate to make this comparison to the Coney 2012 thing.
Yeah, bro is like actually a big man baby. He's just a man baby, man child. He's not going to grow up, take accountability, admit that he could be wrong. Doesn't even have to admit he's wrong. He just got to say that I could be wrong. And then not talk about it anymore, not respond. That's all he's got to do. And it'll all go away, and people will just be like, well, remember Pirate Software kicking off the whole Stop Killing Games initiative, making it go crazy? People will be like, yeah, I remember that. That's what people are going to remember Pirate Software as. Not his big brain top shit.
I feel like he's doing the exact same thing that he's calling out here. He's being reductive. I think I've already said this multiple times in this video, so I'm sorry, but he's just trying to diminish the legitimacy of any criticism being thrown at him. And so
also, I think at this point, he actively wants to kill Stop Killing Games. I think he is very angry and upset about it. And he wants it to be over with. He doesn't want everybody to leave him alone. He wants Stop Killing Games to be shut down. I can tell. That's why he keeps bringing it up. That's why he keeps talking about it, throwing shade, telling everybody to eat his ass, basically, comparing himself to a Ugandan warlord for some reason. That one's fucking crazy.
So after going over both these, and again, I could be wrong, you know, I didn't really get to live in and experience the Kony 2012, you know, experience. But based on what I had looked into, this feels like not just like he's reaching with this analogy, but that he's using it as a deflection. But
yeah, he's trying to find anything that he can to save himself. Which, we all know what he needs to do. But he can't do it, because then he'll have to admit that he's not the big brain top shit.
Genuinely very interested to hear what you guys have to say about this one. If you stayed this long, hey, check out the Discord, link in the description. And
oh, he's got a Discord. That's cool. I might have to join that. I'm probably gonna do that.